Starting recording, and I'm starting streaming. Alright, so anytime now we should be live. I'm just going to wait for it to pop up on my... Oh, it says live here. Here we go.
Yeah, it's just going through advertisements.
Yeah, it's going through the advertisements. Which hopefully means it won't be picking up all of this crap that we're talking about now. Although it probably means that it is, but never mind.
We are live.
Blunders and Bothwellians.
Oh wait, is that a slideshow? With the characters?
Yeah. Is it working?
That's so cool.
Is it working?
Yes.
Yay.
And the map? The map spread across the bottom bar. It looks cool.
Okay, good. Right, let's just try this. I'm going to open it on my Twitch so I can have a look-see too, and then we'll be ready. Just bear with us, everybody.
Wait, if you open it to Twitch, wouldn't it be like showing Twitch then?
No, I'm doing it on my phone, so I can just have it.
Oh. but I was already imagining seeing many
many
versions of Twitch through the fire and... Yay! That song is so good.
I basically have added all the things we've used in the Sunday party into a little... There you go. Oh, awesome. He shared the intro now. That's cool. Marvellous.
I am so in love with that intro song.
Yeah, it's really great.
Would you guys mind if I downloaded it and use it as my ringtone on my phone as well?
I think you can ask the person who wrote it, and I'm sure he will say yes. Okay, so hello, that's not the right thing. Hello, millions of bodies watching and listening to us. Probably not. We learned today that there are 20 pages of people who are watching Dungeons and Dragons things online. But we knew this. We knew that we were not one of a few. We were one of many. We're a small fish in a very large pond, but we're getting there, and we have the most fun. Clearly, obviously. Well, today is the Sunday party, and they are side questing today because one of our lovely players is having a birthday, and unlike the Dungeon Master, she does cooler things than D&D on her birthday, and we have a couple of people away because they're being smoochy. So the rest of us are going to be absolute nerds and do some Dungeons and Dragons. So this is the Sunday party.
This is the right on a Sunday.
Obviously. So yeah, this is your episode 11, guys. Well done. You've made it, most of you. I say that every time because I'm still surprised. You haven't set too many things on fire. You haven't killed each other or the world. So again, congratulations. Well done.
All of those are to be followed with the word yet.
Yet, exactly.
Yes, there's still time, Rosie. Lots of...
Exactly. So I shall now play you, if it starts, the brand new Sunday party theme tune. Now, it won't sound as great as it will do in the future because I'm playing it through my phone. However, I do think it needs to be played. So, welcome to Blunders and Bohwellians, the Wounded Witch edition. This is your Sunday party, episode 11. And they are going to be kicking some ass in the country of Travis, looking round the capital Rog. And this... is their theme tune! Welcome to Dungeons and Dragons! Yeah.
Not just cut in and out the entire time.
I know! It's coming from your phone! You don't need to point it out and be a dick about it, do you? I don't think it's that hilarious.
He clearly does.
So, there we go. I've got my Twitch working. Marvy! So yes, we are a few players short today, but that is good. We are still going to do things and it shall be Marvy. So, you guys have, well, the party as a whole have been doing quite a lot of things in the capital, Rug. It may be war-torn, the population may be down to less than 30%, it may have fought a great deal of evil, but you guys still managed to do a lot. You threw love potions at assassins, Pug got a new boyfriend, Cass tried to turn the king on her entire party, Enna found a shiny, Pug and Belgrath had a long conversation about trust, Arissa poked the NPC assassin's mechanical arm, Tum Tum
got herself stuck in it.
and got herself stuck. Tum Tum the Goliath introduced the party to the Friends, a group of people who are called No Wings, and they are residing in the capital, and they want to bring equality and peace back to the world of land of Travis. And they asked if you guys would help them in restoring their deity to power so that she can aid them in righting the world again. However, they need to continue to do a ritual which binds her and keeps her on this plane of existence, otherwise she will be lost and forgotten. So you guys have been asked to go and find a vessel for her. You've been pointed in the vague direction of a fighters guild where you might be able to find someone strong enough to carry this burden, I suppose would be want of a better word. However, before you guys set off, Cass and Ariel, and potentially Mr. Assassin, depending on how much you're doing today, broke away from the rest of the party before you all headed off. Ariel, I just heard a car. Ariel,
Oh yeah, that might be a motorcycle nearby.
Oh, that's okay. I was thinking that's a really epic text alert. That's amazing. Yes, Ariel, just as you guys were all packing up and getting ready to set off and things, you overheard one dwarf who was stood next to another dwarf, and Pug met them the other day. They had been mining near the ruins of a very small old castle, nothing rich or fancy, quite small, almost a little tower. And they've been mining underneath this. It seems continuously. They've made quite a large, deep pit in the ground. And you remember overnight you've heard little ting, ting, tings where dwarves have been mining. And as you were fluttering along, you overheard one dwarf say to another, and you and Cass were sort of walking past here. You overheard one dwarf say to the other, "Yeah, that Beckett sorted me out. Enchanted pickaxe. It's amazing. I've been mining all night since he left. Good bloke, that un."
I fly over to him.
I thought you might. Okay. For the purposes of this one shot, Cass, you're going to follow Ariel because you don't because you're grumpy with the others at the moment.
I just hate them so much.
But is
and then everyone's sort of terrible. Oh yeah, maybe I started fun with Pug about the sword. Yeah, maybe he has a sword out.
Pug is showing off the sword.
Pug is showing off the sword, and at the same time has taken himself off to show it off to people, and he's been playing with it and just being a bit. The world's getting very bright and sunny over him. Arissa and Belgrath. Belgrath and his sister are sat laughing as Arissa is teaching the Goliaths how to do line dancing. And Enna has realised it's her birthday, and Arissa has left her a spa treatment. Enna is sat reclining in a makeshift chair with some wood and some satchel on it, and she's got some cucumbers on her eyes and some paste on her face. Her hands are in two separate bowls of like milk and mince, not milk, like curdled milk, like the warm stuff, and her feet are in a nice bowl of warm water. She's looking very luxurious and happy. It's all a bit too happy clappy over there for you, Cass. So ironically, you decided to follow Pixie.
Yeah, clearly they're just not taking this seriously enough. Can't deal with them.
Exactly.
I'll slowly saunter off after Ariel.
Okay, because you can detect that something exciting may be happening. Alright, so Errol, you have fluttered over to this dwarf. It's fairly early in the morning now, and there are two. The one who's spoken has slightly darker hair and a big glossy beard. The other one has a slightly lighter, sort of maybe greyer, so might be potentially older dwarf. And he stood next to him, and the one who spoke is holding a very, very shiny, very new looking pickaxe, and you can tell it's enchanted just from looking at it. It's giving off a sort of glow, not a very bright glow, nothing like the sword, but just a little bit of a sort of some sort of enchantments on this thing, and it definitely screams Beckett to you. You definitely think this is the kind of thing Beckett would have got.
Where did you get that? I'll just straight up ask him about that.
Okay, you're going to point at it and everything, yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Might even fly next to it, just going like that. Pointing at it continuously.
Alright. The dwarf takes a little while to notice where this voice is coming from, and eventually looks up at you and he says, "Hey? Oh, this." And he seems quite eager to show it off to anyone who'll listen. "This is my nice shiny pickaxe, enchanted." And he sort of brushes a hand across it as if to say, "Ah." He could be one of those ladies on the telesale channels that's just like going, "Look at this, and this, ooh, look at this." And he's sort of holding it up. It's quite nice, dark wood handle, really long silvery pickaxe, very nice. And yeah, definitely enchanted. And he says, "Yep. Got this last night. Been waiting for this for a while. Paid good money for this. Isn't it a beaut?"
I know who you got it from. I don't care when you got it, but where is the guy you got it from?
Oh, he went off last night. He's a good bloke, that one, but very busy. Very busy. Said he had lots of other customers round about. He is coming back for you, though, isn't he? And the greyer dwarf nods his head and says, "Oh, yep. Should be back at some point later this morning for me. Said he's going to bring me one as well. I quite like the look of yours, you see." "Ah, well, I had the best idea, didn't I?" says the other one, twirling it in one hand. Yeah, all right," says the other one. "I'm getting one too, and then we can mine even faster. Be fantastic." "Yeah, it will. But I'll be finding faster this morning." And he tosses it and catches it over his shoulder.
But where did he go?
"I'm not sure. Said he had some other customers and clients he had to see. He'll be back. I know that," he said, "in a few hours. I don't know if he's still in Rogue, to be honest with you. Why, you got business with him?"
I guess you could say that.
"Well, I hope you don't owe him nothing. He's a good bloke, that un. Good bloke. Always keeps to his word, always keeps his promises."
I think you could say that I owe him in some way.
"Oh, but not money, am I right?"
No, not money.
"Well, he's a top bloke, that one, top bloke. I hope you appreciate it, whatever he's done for you. If you're looking for him, I couldn't tell you where he's gone, but he'll be back in a couple of hours if you want to hang around, help us do some mining. Could always use some extra help, chuck you some gold for your trouble. Alright?"
Do I look like I can even carry gold?
"Oh."
I am more interested in finding him.
He looks you very briefly up and down and sort of, "Oh, right. Well, can I offer you anything else for your trouble? I mean, you can hang about, but we don't really fancy having outsiders watching us mining all day. You're more than welcome to wait for your friend. I mean, I can guarantee he'll be back here in a few hours, but, may as well help us out while we're here, Have a go. There's supposed to be a lot of fun things down there. Tell you what, forget the gold, scrap the gold, let's put that to the back of our minds. How about a share of whatever we find down there? This castle, before it was ruined in the war, used to be where them towels lived. Yeah, not so fancy, I mean, they're always down with the people and that, but still, every royal's got to have a cellar, and cellar's got to have wine, it's got to have meat, it's got to have gold, magic items, and they've got that demon blood. Who else knows what could be down here? Special items, eh?" Get your pixie hands on some of them. That could be fun, aye?
And with Ariel's comment about the gold, I just buckle out laughing very openly.
So, what do you think? Help us out. You can have your pick of whatever we find. There might be some potions, some spells, could be anything. We've heard loads of rumours down there. They've got everything. What do you think?
You can guarantee that I see him within hours?
He has never broken his word to us before, and he said he will be back 2 to 3 hours maximum. He has some other people to see, and he's bringing back my friend here, Grayson, and the dwarf with the slightly greyer hair nods his head. Nice to meet you, nice to meet you. Yeah, he's coming back to give me one of those fantastic pickaxes too. Couldn't help myself, I was tossing and turning about it last night, but then when he turned up with it, I thought, oh, I've got to have me one of them.
Can we roll insight?
Yes, you may.
Yeah, that seems like a good idea. Oh, fuck.
You roll badly.
I rolled a total of 5. That's including plus 3.
Okay.
I have to take my dice out.
I got an 18.
Okay. Ariel, they seem perfectly honest to you. They seem like they're telling the truth, no reason not to believe them.
Can I tell them one thing?
You can do. What do you want to tell them?
I want to tell them that if we decide to stay, I would be willing to help. But if it turns out that they lied to me and he isn't here within 2.5 hours, I will gouge their eyes out and feast upon them.
Alright.
And with that, I buckle out laughing again.
Alright, give me 1 sec. So just getting charge of
I like how small, but plus 4 intimidation.
Okay, well, I'll answer you first. Okay, so you say that, and they sort of laugh, but it's not like mocking you, it's more sort of like, ha! You got some nerve, that one. I like it. Although, I find it entertaining that you can't carry gold, but you can definitely gouge a person's eyes out, although I suppose you don't need a weapon to do that, do you? Can't tell how sharp those fingernails are from this distance, can we? Alright, but, to be serious, he said that's when he was coming back. He has never broken his word to us yet. Scout's honour. And to you two, they seem to be telling the truth. They seem just like perfectly reasonable miners. This is how it's happened before. There's no reason why it shouldn't happen again. That's as far as they know.
I was more insight checking them than actually sharing anything.
Oh. Well, yeah, they seem like it's just a straightforward deal to them. They seem very straightforward. You know, all right, well, how about this? How about this? How about this? And then this means this, and this means that. So they seem fairly straightforward about that.
Okay.
Well, why don't we just try it and just see what happens?
I suppose it's a good idea.
So there was.
It's better than staying with the rest. Sorry.
So they kind of want us to clear the entrance to get in.
Well, what they've done so far is they've just been mining around the base of where, for want of a better word, a castle, but Travis was never very big on castles. This was more of a sort of tower where the Tal family could sleep if it was horrible rain and things, and if there was a big fancy something or other happening, they could take people in there and things. But as far as what these dwarves are saying is this is where everything would be kept, so potentially there's potions, there's weapons, there's magic, and as you know, the Tal family have demon blood, so potentially darker items might be hidden down here, whether you'd want them or not, whether you'd be interested in destroying them, although that's more of a Theratas thing, but you know.
Yeah, you're not going to want to destroy it. If anything, I think it's a good idea to get ready for our quest and gather up some items that may help us.
There you go. And also, Kess, just to give you an extra push, Kess, as you glance back over, as you say, it might be better to be over here rather than over with the rest of our group, you look over it and Pug is attempting to balance the sword on his nose whilst his hands are in a praying position, and he's saying, I am your champion. Lead me. I am your champion. And the sword is balancing on his nose, emitting a beautiful, beautiful light under the bright blue sky.
Rosie, can I push it off with a mage hand?
Sure.
Stab him.
Sure.
Just push up the sword so it clatters on the ground. Like,
the sword wobbles and starts to fall off Pug's nose. He does manage to catch it with one hand, but several of the barbarians around him laugh and point, and you can hear people sort of jeering and laughing at him.
That's enough, let's go.
I just mumble on my breath going, I swear to God those two are married.
Do I hear that? Because I'll burst out laughing.
I'd say you will hear that, yes.
Well, in that case, I'll burst out laughing.
Should I not roll a perception if I heard it?
Sure.
I
am mumbling though, I'll tell you that for sure.
Yeah, don't worry, I'll raise the dice. They have to get.
Yeah, probably not.
I'm gonna say, Kirsty, you hear him, he mumbles something, but you don't hear what it is.
Possibly she hears me laughing.
Yeah, you'll hear the pixie laughing because although he's small, whenever he laughs, he can't quite help himself and it all just comes out and it's sort of
Amazing. What is so funny?
I was thinking about like the mining, and then I noticed Pug dropping the sword, and it was just funny to see him drop it like that when he was showing off.
Well, of course, he's a member.
True. So where's this entrance?
Okay, well, what they've made so far is they've dug a deep pit. So because the tower itself was destroyed, there's no entrance into it. So they've made a big crater in the ground, and it's probably about 9 or 10 feet deep now, and they've just sort of been digging. They dug straight down at a slope for a while. They've clearly been doing this for days and days and days, but they're also clearly very proficient at it, being, mining dwarfs. Not to stereotype, but, mining dwarfs, diggy hole and all that. So they've started, it's almost like...
So racist.
It's almost like, yes, a very racist half a moat going on, and as they go around they're getting deeper and deeper, and it looks like they're going to sort of make a spiral sort of tunnel so that they can explore as much as they can, going down and down and down.
Oh.
So there's no actual entrance yet then?
Entrance to what?
Into the actual dungeon. Yeah, cellar.
No, at the moment there's no entrance into it. They're looking around to try and break into it.
How compact are the rocks? Is it like a solid layer of rock?
There's quite a lot of rock, there's a lot of soil and stuff underneath. The further down you get, it becomes just all compacted dirt and soil. But there is quite a lot of rocks and boulders, especially underneath the earth. It seems to be that kind of place. It's almost like digging underneath a volcano. There's loads of rocks and things, even 10 feet under the surface. But there is a lot of soil as well. So in terms of digging through it, or whatever you're going to use to dig away, it shouldn't be too hard to shift. It will just take you a little while.
Well, the thing that I was wondering, mining in this scenario is basically lifting things away from where they are right now, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But because I have the feeling that this pixie might have a way to lift things slightly easier. I pixie dust the pit.
Okay.
I sit down and go, this is going to be interesting.
Okay, so pixie dusting all the rocks, all the soil. What are you pixie dusting?
the rocks. If I feel like they could be moved with the pixie dust, I would do the rocks, and otherwise the soil around it.
So what you can do then is you can make their way a lot easier, because they're about 10 feet underground now. As you sort of, it winds its way in a circle and eventually you're underground. But what they've hit is there's a lot of rocks underneath. So if you were to lift them up and out of the tunnel and then put them back on the surface, that would mean they could just dig on through the soil and the dirt, and that would make everything a lot easier.
I'll be doing that.
Okay, Marvy.
I know this infinite supply of pixie dust.
Yeah. He just has to wiggle his butt and pixie dust appears. It's amazing. Alright, so Errol does his pixie wiggling thing, and the dwarves seem a little bit perturbed at first to see sort of rocks go flying past them, like zoom, 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 and being very careful not to lose Sylvester while you're doing this.
Yeah. Sylvester is tied to my belt.
That's okay. You need to get him a proper leash at some point. We need to get him like a little dog lead.
Yes.
So you manage to do this, and you clear a decent chunk of the way. There's still a lot of boulders sort of scattered around under the earth, but they're not in the direction they're tunneling at the moment, so they seem to be out of the way. So what you guys have now is a tunnel, again about 10 feet underground, and they're digging, and they seem to have hit what looks like, as the rocks Ariel has moved away, you see a wall, what looks like it could be a wall of sort of like stone, but it's not rock stone, it's sort of stone that's been attached together, and it looks as if they could have found potentially the ceiling of maybe a dungeon or a cellar or something.
Okay, I'll just kind of look over at Casco and think you could blast that open.
I could certainly try to. If I try Eldritch Blast, basically I want to try Eldritch Blast on it. I probably would.
Don't try anything too strong. We don't exactly want to cave into place. Just something a bit more pinpoint.
So I think Eldritch Blast should be fine. It's not. It's fairly focused and it's quite controllable.
Okay, have a go.
Okay, so I try to use Eldritch.
Alright, awesome. Cantriple spell, remind me?
It's a ward of cantrip.
Cool. Alright, in which case you need to
it should be a beam of cackling energy.
Okay. Does it say how wide it can go?
I don't remember it.
It doesn't have any width. So basically it can go up to 120 feet.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
It didn't, it's not very big on purpose.
Well, you can sort of bore, I'm going to say, so what you managed to do, because it's a cantrip, so it's not going to be insanely powerful, but what you do manage to do is make a hole that bores through a big blast of like poof, like someone's let off a small tiny bomb in the little bottom of this, and in this sort of wall or ceiling or whatever it is that they found, you blast a hole that's probably about 1.5 to 2 feet wide, and it's sort of vaguely rectangular. And it goes through, and there's a lot of dust and dirt and soil gets blasted out. You can't really see anything beyond it. It's very dark. You could probably like fit an arm through, but it's not big enough for any of you except potentially the pixie.
Maybe Errol could look inside. He can fly anyway. To be safe for him.
We can send in the pixie. Kalasia, what do you want to do before the pixie goes in?
Absolutely nothing, because there's still part of me being elf going, nah, I get my hands dirty.
That might be interesting for me to write down, by the way. What, does Kalasia look like an elf, a human, or in between?
I am pure blood elf, but probably a type of elf you've never seen or heard of before.
Yeah, but you don't look human. That's the
No,
important thing.
I'm straight up elf.
Awesome. In that case, I like that.
So you don't feel racist towards him?
There's a grand total of now 2 humans that are not racist towards.
Yeah, you're not racist towards some humans. Amazing.
Well, a grand total of 2.
Well, even 2 is more than 0.
True.
Let's be positive.
So yeah, I'm just gonna sit and do absolutely nothing and just kind of watch these 2 work.
What an excellent work ethic you have. Alright, so...
Important question about the small hole that I'm supposed to go in.
Yes, I mean, you don't have to go in, by all means. It's completely up to you. It just seems to be what the other 2 want, but yes.
Can I bring Sylvester? Does that fit?
How big was Sylvester? I think you probably can. I think
Sylvester was just about my size, maybe slightly bigger, but...
Yeah, because he was just like a big pebble, wasn't he? So I'm going to say yes. Sylvester can fit through with you.
Can I ask for a recap? Who the fuck's Sylvester?
Sylvester is my pet rock. A flying pet gem, to be more specific.
He
Okay.
He hovers and he's attached to a sort of dog lead that is attached to Ariel, and he's called Sylvester, and his full name is Sylvester de Stone.
It's amazing, isn't it?
I didn't come up with that either. It wasn't me.
My fault. Entirely my fault.
My players have fun without me. It's amazing.
Just a quick question. Is it noticeable that it's just flying around? So can everyone see Sylvester?
Oh, yes.
Okay. And no one so far has questioned it.
Well, you were there when he got him. He got him in the Tower of Tests and just kept him.
Yeah, okay.
So far, no one's questioned it.
I've been pixie dusting him regularly so that it keeps floating.
Okay. That's fun.
Just for curiosity reasons, what was that beach ball called in Castaway?
Oh God.
What?
No, Castaway.
Oh, Castaway. Wrong movie, sorry.
I will look it up. In the meantime, Ariel, what did you want to do?
I want to go into the hole.
Okay.
It's Wilson.
Wilson.
I'm going to forever call him Wilson now. Just saying.
Yeah, his name is Sylvester.
It's okay if you call him Wilson, but I will keep calling him Sylvester and I will keep correcting you on it.
Okay.
Eventually in Sylvan.
Okay, so...
I fly in.
Okay. Can you... Oh, you, as a pixie, have dark vision or low light vision?
How about neither?
Neither. Wow.
Oh, I have another solution for darkness.
Oh, yes.
Pixie
Oh,
magic.
light.
I can
Don't cast light right there. We don't know what's inside. Let me look then.
Well, you can't fit through the hole.
But I can look through the hole. Surely. I can peek inside.
True.
Well, Ariel, you have fluttered on in, and not being able to see anything. You and Sylvester have sort of scraped your way through, but you've popped out the other side with a poof of pixie dust, and from the way you're breathing, it's a very dank... You're in some sort of room. It's very dank, and it reminds you a little bit of being in jars, but it's not that close. Just the way that the air's a bit stale and feels like it isn't very fresh. And you hear Cass behind you, as she puts her eye up against the hole to have a little peek through. So, Cass, can you roll me a perception check, please?
Okay.
Rami will be back in a few seconds. I will keep listening in.
Okay.
Okay, so this is not a natural one.
Alrighty. Oh, very nice.
Yeah. So start peeking, and I have dark vision that should see through all sorts of darkness, cooling magic.
Marvelous.
It's one of my pack things.
Okay, well, this darkness isn't magical, but it is very dark. It's underground. You can't see everything because the room itself, you can see further away, you can see another wall similar to the one you just broken through a little bit, further away on the other side, and you can see the room stretches further along. It's definitely bigger than the castle tower was above it. It doesn't seem to be very fancy or particularly formal. It doesn't seem to be a dungeon where people were hung. You can't make out any skeletons or chains or manacles or torture devices or anything, which may or may not make you sad. You can see...
Yeah, boring.
Exactly. It's like, nah, fuck it, there's nothing here. Fuck it, let's go. You can see some sort of benches and trestle tables further along, sort of on each side of your vision, off to the left and right. And it seems like there might be things on the other ends of the room that you can't quite make out just because they're quite far away, and the room itself seems to curve a little bit. But there's definitely boxes, there's definitely what looks like vials, what looks like chests and things.
There's some things here we could investigate. Is there anything that looks like living, anything moving, sort of?
Not that you can see at the moment. It seems you get a similar feeling to Ariel. The air feels quite stale, like this is the first time anyone's broken through here in a while. There's no fresh air down here. It's very dank, and you can almost smell what would be rot and moss and mould and things just from being under the ground and very not kept so well.
It's perfectly like home, I guess.
Well, it's nice and dark, isn't it? Well, that's also interesting.
Oh, you come down as well?
Come down. We can, yeah.
Can I cast light now?
You can do. Well, are you asking Cass? I mean, you can, but I would ask Cass first.
I do have a question, Rosie. Are there any statues inside?
Statues? Yes. There is one statue. All you can see of it at the moment, because again it's right down the end where it's starting to curve, you can see it's very tall, it has horns and a long cloak.
Okay, and it's not moving at the moment.
No, it's not moving.
Before we cast light, can I cast Mage Hand to just prod the statue?
Of course.
Are you playing tag with the statue?
No, just paranoid, thank you. I mean, you can never know when a statue is first moving.
And it was almost getting scary, Cassie. That's how you get me, by the way. It's not Adele. Adele actually quite likes.
That's okay. Alright, well, Cass, your mage hand floats down the room, and Errol, you can't... Oh, have you cast light at this point?
Well, she said wait a second, so
okay.
I'm waiting a second.
So you're waiting a second. Okay, in which case, you see a sort of mage hand that disappears into the dark. And Cass, you see, and Errol, you hear. And Kalisha, are you quite close? Are you going to be able to hear?
Yeah, I'm kind of standing next to Cass.
Alright.
This is the best thing I could have done.
You hear a thunk, thunk, thunk as the mage hand taps this statue, which seems made of some sort of metal, but quite heavy. It doesn't sound hollow like a suit of armour. It sounds quite heavy. Thunk. And as you encourage it to push harder, it gives it a sort of thunk, and you hear it. and the statue falls over and lands flat on the floor. Ariel, you get a sudden rush of like a little breeze of wind where it lands, and some dirt and debris and a lot of like spider webs and moss and fluff lands in your face. Just debris from years underground, and like in your face.
I look at Cass and go, you don't know the meaning of being subtle, do you?
Well, it's now safe to do.
And what if anything hurt that may be residing in this lovely abode?
The good thing is we are not inside yet, so we could just wait to see if anything comes in.
The tiny one's in there already.
Sorry?
So the tiny one is in there already.
You can always fly out. No, he flies out too.
Have you seen any horror plays? This doesn't end well. Okay.
No, I'm not aware of anything like that.
Okay. Let's make this hole a bit bigger so we can get through. So I don't exactly like having him in there by himself.
Yeah, I think I'm happy to make the hole a little bit bigger to get through. Can we do that with Eldritch Blast, Rosie, or is it too risky to do it with Eldritch?
That's entirely up to you.
I have an idea. Hypothetical one. Any chance could I shove my blade into the hole and use like my frost kind of ability to kind of brittle the stone, and then use my fire one to superheat it and basically make it crumble?
You can certainly try.
Okay. How thick is this stone, this wall, etc., that has a hole in it?
Currently it's
I
about...
like the stones going into this.
What was that? Sorry?
I like the science going into breaking a hole into this wall.
Alright, that is 22.
Okay, and what exactly is it you're trying to do?
Freeze some of the wall, and then use my other attack with fire to superheat it, so the temperature change basically crumbles. Basically, the molecular structure of the wall is brittle and it can be broken very easily with minimum force.
Okay. Cool. In which case, yes, that will work. So, you're going to... Are you wanting to get it big enough for all of you, or just like to try and crack it so it breaks?
Just enough to crack it, and then just to kind of push ever so slightly on the wall, and so it just kind of crumbles.
Okay. In which case, that first bit will work. Can you make me a strength check with advantage to just push it?
Okay. 19, which to me is a natural crit. That's 26.
Okay. Yes, in which case, Ariel, can you please roll me a dexterity check?
But the wall would just crumble downwards. It wouldn't get blasted outwards.
No, yeah, but crumbling. He's still very small in the air and hasn't moved very far away from it because he can't see.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yay, nat 20! I'm not trying to hurt you, I'm trying to work with the cane. But with a nat 20, you've heard this plan, and and as you hear the wall behind you start to go, you instinctively go, "Come on, Sylvester!" And you and Sylvester just go higher up. You very nearly donk you and Sylvester's heads onto the ceiling of this little dungeon, but you just manage to stop yourself in time as the wall behind you goes, and a load of like rock and rubble just collapses in. And you can see slightly better now, it being quite early morning. But the tunnel itself is curved round. There's not a lot of light. It's still very dim. But the wall is
Well, collections, that was subtle.
Rosie,
Yes.
wouldn't this be a moment where like the darkness is immediately lit up with a bright blue light for a few seconds? Nat 20 means the kiss will start to glow.
Oh, in which case, yes, a very little faint light starts to glow in the darkness around you. That is probably what stopped you hitting your head on the ceiling.
Yes.
And like the smug prick that I am, it says, see, easily done, and casually walk inside.
Yeah, that was very subtle, isn't it?
What was that, Cass? Sorry?
That was very subtle, wasn't it?
Yep. Quiet.
Yeah, entirely. No one could hear a sound, right?
That's kind of irrelevant after that clutter banging you made earlier.
I'm just saying, you were calling me out on being subtle, just as you did, exactly the same.
Yeah, but subtlety's kind of no longer in the card table now, is it?
For yourself.
Alright, I'll continue walking in.
Okay, well, you all get in. The two dwarves are calling down from above because they're still mining out so the tunnel can fit everybody. And they notice that you've managed to blast through. And they call in, "Hey! Going alright down there? Come on in!" And they're gonna hop on in after you.
Okay, do I see anything down there?
Well, how lit is it?
I have dark vision.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, well, in which case, looking to either side of you, you can see that on either end of the room are benches that are old and dusty and not sitting benches, like work benches. And they have several items, again, covered in thick layers of dust. You can't make them all out. Some of them are covered with little cloths and things. Some are boxes, and some are seemingly just covered in dust and seem to be little piles. You can't quite make all of them out, but on both sides of the room, you've got sort of piles of items, like odds and ends. They don't seem to be out for looking at. They don't seem to be put out in any sort of display. They just seem to be odds and ends.
I got light because I don't like this darkness around me.
Okay. In which case you see the same thing. It's much brighter. Kess, you'll probably find yourself blinking a little bit irritatedly.
Not again.
Let's keep the light low enough that I can see, but not high enough to annoy Cass.
That sounds like a good compromise. That sounds like a good compromise. Alright. You see either end of the room. The room curves slightly. It looks as if it was designed to potentially be a fully round room so that you could walk all the way around it, but they never got round to finishing it. At the moment it seems to be sort of like a semicircle. So the wall you just broke through was the flat side, and as you look to either end you've got curved benches with what seems to be items, potentially plates, cups. You're not quite sure yet. You can't quite see from where you are now. And again, covered in dust and dirt. And from you exploding into the room, actually, they're going to be covered in quite a lot of rubble as well. So there's like soil everywhere. And every now and then, bits of soil sort of like dropped from the ceiling, just from where the room itself has taken a bit of a beating.
Can I cast detect magic?
You can do, yes.
In that case, I'll cast detect magic to see if there's anything worth my time.
Remind me if that's a cantrip or a spell.
It's a spell.
It's a spell.
And while he's doing that, I'm going to keep a very, very keen eye on any movement in the darkness.
Okay, roll me a perception, please.
To detect the statue lying there. how scary would it be if you rolled in that one and it was like, yeah, it's totally fun.
Okay. Presence of magic.
My detect magic is 30 feet.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm just checking what it won't get through, but that's fine. Okay. This room is almost aglow with magic. This seems to be the place the dwarves were thinking correct. This seems to be the place where the Tau family kept either heirlooms or talismans or just things they'd acquired over the years. You're not sure, but most of the items in here seem to be magical. You can't tell necessarily whether it's good magic, evil magic, worthwhile magic, pointless magic, experimental magic, blow up in your face magic. It could be all of the above, but most of the items in here looking around seem to be magical. Meanwhile, Calosia, are you looking at anything in particular or just the room?
I'm looking at all times in case anything that comes up, or I hear anything, or I, see anything moving in the darkness that isn't us.
Okay. The two dwarves are moving about, and they are mainly looking for gold. They are fairly interested in the items, but they are muttering to each other about gold and how the family should have been rich, and they want some gold to start again, make it worthwhile, move away. They talk about wanting to buy passage to Amley. They want to move across and join their brothers.
Can I fly over to the dwarves in a bit?
You can do. Yes, you can. And while he's doing that, Kalasia, you think you see something out of the corner of your eye, and you look, and it's just more soil falling from the ceiling. So far, you seem to be the only living, breathing things in this room, alive or otherwise, inanimate or otherwise.
Yeah.
That's somewhat comforting.
I'll have a wee rummage around the place, see if I can find anything worthwhile for myself.
Yeah, I'll do the same while I fly over to look around and see if there's anything I would find interesting or useful.
While saying this, at all times, there is one hand very much ready for my short sword.
Okay, yeah, I do want to investigate the room as well, to try to see if I have any spells. Not really. Okay, just want to investigate.
Okay. Alright, so, are you... That wasn't a word. Are you investigating anything in particular or just having a look?
Anything
I was going to try to look for any documents, especially anything relating to my goddess. But yeah, anything that looks powerful.
Okay. Are you detecting magic as well, or are you just looking out of instinct?
I don't have the spell, so...
In which case, you're not!
Yeah. I'm just looking for powerful magical things that might...
Having absolutely no idea whatsoever. That's fine. Okay, well, Cass, tell me, are you going to the left-hand side or the right-hand side?
Right-hand side.
The right-hand side. Okay. In which case, Cass. Ooh. No. Bad DM. No, I won't do that. No. In which case, Cass, going round to the right.
There's many things.
You wish I found worse.
Oh God. How is there something worse than the chance of instant death?
I can think of you.
Or, well, instant imprisonment while your body soullessly wanders the plane of existence.
I can think of one. A jar.
Fair point. Fair point.
Okay, so Cass,
Yeah.
Second. No, I've changed my mind. I am going to use it. Fuck it.
Oh dear. So what happens to me?
Oh, nothing happens to you yet.
Oh. Yeah.
You get a bright glowing sword and what?
So Cassie, you went to the right, yes?
I don't want it.
Happy for everyone.
I don't want.
Okay,
And
Cass.
you get a magic sword.
And you get a magic sword, and you get a magic sword, and the day became bright and pretty, and Cass got her face painted and candy floss. It was brilliant.
No, this is a nightmare. This is the worst nightmare ever. Stop it now.
Says Cass as she goes round and round on the merry-go-round, unable to get off the horse, going up and down. No!
Someone save me. This is hell.
Yes, just as a reminder, isn't your nightmare "Let's Be Friends" song?
Let's be
No, worse than Let's Be Friends song. That's the song.
That is the song that plays on the merry-go-round.
I found worse.
Rosie, while this is going on, I'm just going to just prepare myself. I'm going to take one of my poison vials and just dip it. We'll drop it into my short sword scabbard and just put my short sword back into it, so it's just soaked in it, just in case it's anything pop.
Alrighty. So I'll start with Cass. Sorry, right. So you're all exploring. So the dwarves have gone off in search of gold. They found like a big sack in the corner, and they are trying to get it open and stuff and having a look at what's inside. Cass, you've gone round to the right, and you can see a sort of it's a small world after all. It's a tiny time. Yes, exactly. Cass, you. God, that song's terrible. Cass, you can see there's like a long bench across around the corner of the room, and it's curved to match the walls. And you can see that there is a broom covered in dust leaning against one corner of it. You can see a brass bottle covered in dust. You can see something tall that has been covered by a blanket that's lying across. And you can also see, as you get closer, that there looks to be a pair of slippers on the table.
A pair of slippers.
Yes, they are black and purple, and they've got little spiderweb designs all over them. They look quite quaint.
Okay.
While Cass is having a look over there, Kaleja and Ariel, were you following her? Were you exploring other things? Where are you going?
I want to talk to the dwarf.
Okay, so you're going off towards the left then. So as Ariel glides on off over there, Kaleja, what are you doing? Apart from preparing yourself.
I am just going to have a wee browse of the goods. And
Okay,
just
are you
see if
going
there's
to
anything
the
that's
left or
worthwhile
to the right?
myself.
Are you going to the left where the dwarves and Ariel are, or are you going to the right where Cass is?
I have a feeling that they'll be fine. I'll keep an eye on Kess, because she's on her own.
Okay.
Okay.
Over to the right, and again you can see like an old sweeping broom propped up in the corner, again covered in dust. It's quite ironic that the room is so covered in dust and there's a broom here. A big brass bottle sat on the table, just covered. It's completely made of brass, and it's got a massive brass stopper, and you can't tell if there's liquid or grain or anything in it, or even a spell. It is covered in just like webbing and dust. You can also see something that's long and fairly flat, covered by a big throw blanket that's lying flat across the table. And you also see these sort of black and purple spiderwebbing covered slippers that are, again, covered in dust, just plopped on the table. No particular rhyme or reason, just the items are just popped there.
Are we seriously going to our friend?
Can you say again?
Well, seeing as we're not sure yet how much of an evil assassin guy you'll be in the future, is it a good idea to give you more weapons?
Yes, some people don't need more weapons, do they?
To be fair, Pug is in our party, so he won't attack us again.
Hey, you know fine well that might not be a thing anymore after that hour of torture.
But it was so much fun. You had fun.
And by the way, my character's still very suspicious about that situation.
Yeah, but like, what is he suspicious about in that situation? Is it magic? Is it bug? Is it all of
Everything.
that?
I know fine well that's not my normal demeanor, noticing it afterwards, and something caused it, and it's one of you guys, because that's the only thing there.
Dude,
That's all I know.
fair. Good thing is that you like me, so you are yet.
Yeah, but you're a devious little fucking pixie, of course I'm going to suspect you higher up there, if I like you or not.
Fair. you know, the fun thing is that if you don't kill him, I'll get to play Arrow and I'm happy, but if you kill him, I'll get to play Bazooey and I'm still happy.
And you know what? For a pixie, he's very hard to hit. Okay, so you'll follow off after Cass to keep an eye on her. You see all those items as well. I will cut back to Ariel for now. So Ariel, you have followed the dwarves. They are peering into a sack, and they're sort of saying just like, "Oh, how much do you reckon's in that? Oh, that's got to be hundreds. That excellent!" And the dwarves quite literally high five each other. Yes, this is what we came for, brother. This will get us home. This will get us home. Huh?
I dodged the high five.
Yes, you do. Only just, but you do. Sylvester is very nearly clipped by dwarven thumbnails, but you're good.
I poke them like dwarves.
You interpret the dwarves.
Yeah, right. No, this is ours. I know we said we'd share, but you said, and I quote, "I cannot carry no gold. This will be ours. Thank you very much. You can have the rest of this." And he gestures around the room. This crap. We'll have this. Thank you very much.
That's no problem. You can have it. I just have an important question.
Oh, all right, fire away.
So if we're going further and further into this dungeon, how will Beckett find us?
Oh, well,
And he has a look around.
well, we have no reason to believe there's any more of it, you see. We just thought it'd be a couple of rooms, maybe. And to be honest,
And he tapped the very large sack.
this'll do us nicely, I think. This brings our mission to an end, I think. Grayson, what do you think? Oh, yes, I think so. I think this will do us marvellously, Castle. Marvellously. We can definitely get passage to Emily with this.
Any chance can I hear this as it's echoing down the corridor?
Roll me perception. And maybe. Ariel, what were you
Can I
saying?
roll persuasion against them?
Persuasion against
Can I
them? For
roll
what?
persuasion?
You can persuade them. What are you persuading them?
So, if this would end your mission and make you rich from just the first room, and there's a door over there. There's a door, right? At some point in the whole circle.
Yes, there is. Sort of in the middle of the curved wall.
Awesome. Okay, in that case I can continue what I was saying. So, if this room makes you rich and ends your mission, and there's a door over there, why the heck would you give up now? You've worked so hard to find this room. And that room is literally opening a door and continuing down the hallway to find more.
You raise an interesting point, but why? When it's been so, well, I won't say easy, because we spent a good few nights burrowing down to get here, but we haven't lost life, we haven't lost limb, we've got all the gold we need to get home. Why risk anything to get more? I mean, by all means, you guys can carry on ahead if you like. I mean, we'll forfeit the rest of whatever gold there might be to you if you fancy it. But currently, we've got more than enough. We will wait for Beckett, of course. I still quite fancy having that axe. Yeah, of course, we'll wait for him for the axe. But other than that, I mean...
Are you persuading them to stay then?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm looking at the gold. How much is it there?
At least 200 or 300.
Okay.
You think you're stealing it all?
Maybe.
I'll take that as a yes then. Well, I think it would be a good idea to have you guys stay around here.
you do?
Yes. And if Becca shows up, I want you to warn me. You all go like I find.
I'm gonna ask Ariel, who's this Beckett guy to you? Because it's like a really confused question because I have no idea who he is.
He's important. I owe him my life. Well, my previous life.
Your previous life.
Yes.
Oh yeah, because you defeated.
Yeah.
I died once.
I mentioned to Ariel, I found a little tiny sized pixie sword over here. Come over here and look at it. I just leave the room. Just wait to see if Ariel will follow.
Pixie sword?
I'm lying up my ass.
Roll a persuasion on Ariel.
Can I voluntarily roll insight at disadvantage?
What if you want? You can just follow him, yeah?
I'll do that because it's a pixie sword. It's my size.
Cool. Okay. Well, he says he's found a pixie sword.
I do look at the dwarf one more time and I go, so, you get all my share of the gold. If I find more gold, if you warn me. And if you don't, it's simple. You then stand in the way of me finding Beckett, and I get to kill you.
Oh, for a little guy, he sure means business. Yeah, I think he does. Alright, little guy, it's alright. I mean, we've still got some time. We don't have to go back to Emily right now, I suppose. Sure. Just no funny business about that gold, alright?
But yeah, they're gonna chill. They'll come with you if you want, or they'll just hang out there. They're all good.
You can chill here, and I'll bring you all the I can carry.
Well, see, when I was walking out of the room, I'm going to hunter's mark one of the dwarves so I know his whereabouts at all times.
Okay, do you want the one with the dark hair or the grey hair?
The strongest looking one.
Probably the one with the dark hair. They both look fairly strong, just the other one's slightly older.
Okay. So I'll walk up the room, out of earshot of the dwarves. Just wait for Ariel.
You can walk to the other end of the room, which would probably still be an earshot. You can climb back through and go outside, or you can try the door that's on the opposite wall. But if you stayed in the same room, they'd probably be able to hear you.
I'll say to Ariel in Elvish just to see if he understands me. Can you understand me?
I'll reply with yes.
And while I'm talking, I'm looking, not looking directly at the doors, but I'm with peripheral vision. If they react to me talking in another language, they might or will not understand.
Which were you talking, Sylvan?
No, Elvish.
Elvish. Okay, the dwarves aren't really paying you much attention, having been persuaded by Errol. They clock the Elvish, and you sort of hear elves. But other than that, nothing.
Okay. Then I'll just ask, I don't know if we can just walk out the room or outside just for 2 seconds. And, say to Kess and Draconic, keep an eye on them.
What? Why are you ordering me around?
I just say it and walk out the room.
In what way are you walking out the room? Are you going back to the tunnel, or are you going to try the door on the other wall?
To the tunnel, because I don't know what's behind the door yet.
Alrighty.
And I'll very much whisper in Elvish to much a pixie could possibly hear.
I'll sit on your shoulder to make it easier.
And I'll say, do you like gold?
Well, I like gold, but I can't really carry it.
Yeah, but we can. Do you need these guys alive? If that guy comes, we can seal this place up before he gets here. We can take everything for ourselves, and this could just look like a fortunate accident. I'm just asking this out of curiosity if you guys want to do that or not.
They know Beckett. Who's to say Beckett will show up if, they are dead?
Beckett would have to come down here to see them, because they're in here anyway. And he's going to see a hole in the ground, and they're dwarves. Of course he's going to want to come down, but by the time if we're up in the ground, you can talk to him, get whatever information you need.
That sounds good. However, since I can't carry gold, it feels bad to just kill them because you guys want gold.
Yeah, and the dwarves, I just don't trust dwarves.
At least they're not humans.
Sometimes dwarves are worse.
No.
Dwarves' greed is far worse than humans.
No.
We'll talk about that later. But the point is, I'm getting at, what's your slight vote on this? Because I bet you I know where Kess stands on this.
As long as I get a pick in what I want from the loot before you guys get to pick the treasures, you can have all the gold with Kess. I just want to be able to pick anything I can get that.
I was going to split it between all three of us, just so we can get whatever we want. So, you cool with that?
Well, they haven't done anything to harm me, but they also wouldn't tell me where Beckett went, so...
Yeah, I was listening to that. That's why they're being a very bit secretive or elusive on their answers. So
they seem trustworthy, but if you say so.
Okay.
Keep in mind, I'm not the smartest character.
Okay, I'll just walk back in the room.
I'll follow you again. I'm still sitting on the shoulder.
Yeah, you're just going to walk back.
I'm dangling my legs off while sitting on the shoulder.
I'll walk up to Kess and say Draconic, do you want to take the one? Do you want to take the older one? Split the gold. And of course you can take their souls.
I'm very suspicious. How does this person know about Yes.
The soul was being talked about while...
I said that with a big kind of grin in my face.
I don't know what you mean. Why are you trying to kill these people again?
Split the gold between us three. We get them everything. Plus, I don't like dwarves.
Well, all these questions are the same. I suppose we can look at gold.
I like the fact that there's no racism against humans, racism against dwarves, and racism against anything that doesn't have scales in this group.
By the way, just out of character, the reason why I don't like dwarves is, I guess the Scottish stereotype.
Hey, I deliberately didn't do them Scottish just for you. Alright there, laddie. I got next. I'm a dwarf.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Right, okay. I'll say, okay, so how do you want to do this?
Well, they're not looking this way, right?
They're too probably busy looking at doing their own thing.
Rosie,
Yes.
I take it that the roof on this thing is slightly unstable from all the, what do you call it, all digging and mining that they've done around it.
Just
Right.
a little bit, yes.
How is that situation right above the dwarves?
It's pretty similar all across the room. There's artifacts on the table near them, and they're still with the big sack of gold. In fact, they're now starting to heave it across the ground to sort of take it outside. They're seeing occasionally bits of crumble or bits of soil come down. It's not on the brink of collapse or anything, but the wall coming down has definitely made the entire room just slightly less sturdy.
Okay.
Will I be able to collapse part of the room if I throw a slingshot, for example, or a rock?
Just a second. I got an idea here. Alright, I'll say the cast. If I don't end up killing, or if I don't end up taking out the older one, finish him.
Well, I think, first of all, can I just double check how many dwarves there are? Are there?
2.
There are 2 dwarves, and are the dwarves in a location that's moving?
So that last bit again?
There.
Sure.
Are they right next to each other? That's what she's asking. I think.
Pretty much, yes. They're hauling quite a large sack of gold across the floor, but they would be both within targeting range, so yes.
Okay, and they're not in sight of anyone else. Okay.
No,
Alright,
it's just
so I say that to
you
Cass.
guys down here at the moment.
Okay. Okay, so I have a plan. Basically, if we cast darkness on them, or on the gold next to them, then they can't see us attacking them, and we can take them out while they are confused.
Just let me try this first.
Okay.
Just finish off the ones I don't. Okay?
Okay, whatever.
And I'll say to Ariel, jump off my shoulder for a second.
I fly up.
And in that case, they are right in front of me as facing me, right?
Yes, because they're coming towards. Have you stepped back? You've stepped back into the room and talked to Cass, yes?
Yes.
In which case, you guys are slightly down towards the right-hand side of the room now. By that trestle table full of objects. The dwarves are now towards the middle of the room. They're heading towards the exit that you've made. They're going to haul their gold out and stash it and then come back in and join you guys.
Okay. I will immediately dimension door behind the first one, the one with the dark hair, and I'm going to sneak attack him and then assassinate the other one. And that's all 3 abilities used up in one go.
Okay, so roll me for your sneak attack and then roll me for your assassinate.
So now the mind flayer that will find be able to you won't be able to do anything against the player that's the dungeon.
I'm fine using those abilities. Again, it's just once per combat.
Oh, it's once per combat.
Yeah, it's like when a rogue turns assassin, they get a bonus on if they get the first round in combat.
Holy Jesus.
Alright, that is
That's useful.
19 is 23 for the first one. Do you want me to roll the attack for the other one as well?
Yes, please.
Is this the beginning of a sterling work? No.
That's a 19 and that's a natural crit for me.
Yeah, so you guys are going murder hobo.
Yep.
Awesome.
Alright, so first one's 23 and the other one's a natural 19 for me, so it's a crit.
Alrighty, so are you rolling me the damage then on both of those? Because that'll hit both.
Yeah. Okay, let's...
Wait, you crit for a 19 as well?
Yep. Like I said,
He's a very special
first attack,
snowflake. But he has very weak... What are you weak in? Almost everything except attacking.
yeah, pretty much.
Constitution, charisma... Yeah.
I'm in like -1s and -2s for everything else.
Yeah. He just never uses them, so you'd never know.
That will be fun when I get my Witch Doctor character. 6 intelligence.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I was thinking, I need to ask you something about that character at some point.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
I have a fun background, but I need to hone through the entire background.
That's cool, we can do that. Are you still rolling damage?
Yes.
Do you have enough dice? If not, I have 9 complete sets right here.
I have literally 1 set of dice. Okay, that is... Oh, fuck. 45 for the sneak attack.
Uh-huh. So that was on the first one.
No, sorry, it's 45? No, it's not. Fuck, I was to read this up here. Oh, sorry, I messed that one out there. 62.
Alrighty then.
No, 52, sorry, I messed that one up. Right, for my other one, for my assassinate,
How many damage was the first one, sorry? 52.
52.
I'm so glad that you're friendly for now.
Yeah, it doesn't look like I need to clean up.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm getting the rolls here. Right, for my assassinate...
Okay, it's on the second one, yes?
Yes,
Yes.
that is... I got 42 times 2.
Okay.
That's 84.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Okay, in which case,
And I'm aiming to take both their heads off clean.
Okay, well, the first
Why
one you...
clean? Why not dirty?
Always
So much
dirty.
more fun with more blood and gore.
If my big sword's out, it's getting done clean.
Okay, well, the first dwarf that you attacked was the dark-haired one, and you swipe at his neck to take his head off, and he puts up a hand halfway through and manages to pull you off as you're assassinating the other one. He's got a pretty massive gash in the side of his neck, and he's not looking too good, but he managed to pull it off you a little bit. The second one, however, you literally stabbed through the neck and pulled, and his head like toppled to the floor, and he is dead.
Right, and now it's Cass's go. That's the plan.
Okay, go on then, Cass.
Okay. Is one of them still alive?
Yes. The one with the dark hair is still alive, sort of going, sort of indignantly.
Okay. So can I use hat and so do I have to use my bonus action at the end of the turn, or can I use it at the beginning?
You can use it at the beginning, yeah.
Okay.
Can I quickly stop my light spell?
Because you don't want to look at all the horrible bloodshed.
Yes.
This will make no effect on the other two whatsoever. You two can still see fine. It just, the lights get turned out and you guys sort of blink. Oh, yep, alright, carrying on, because you can see fine. So yes, carry on, Cass, what were you doing?
Okay, so I'm casting Hat on the remaining dwarf, which will do extra damage, and is the dwarf holding any weapon?
Oh, sorry, see for the dark-haired dwarf, could you, 1 minute, need to add
No, it's too
extra
late.
5.
No,
Oh, damn it. I forgot my hunter's mark on.
I'm sure it's fine without. He'd still be alive
No,
without.
bad anyway.
With the extra 5, he would still be alive anyway, so you're fine.
Okay.
Okay, So, so Hex will give me extra method that I can do.
Okay.
And I want to use Eldritch Blast on it.
Awesome. All right.
Yeah. And so cantrip just normally I just roll that, right?
Yeah, just do damage. Yes. Cantrips be fine.
Okay, so that's 9 points of damage.
Ooh. All right. Nice.
And is it holding? Sorry, is it holding a weapon? That's what I want to ask.
Not at the moment. He's got his big pickaxe, but it's in his belt loop at the moment because he's been hauling this sack of gold.
Okay, if it has a pickaxe, then I want to make the heck give it disadvantage on strength.
Okay.
Yeah.
Disadvantage on strength. Okay, noted. Ariel, did you want to do anything? Not that you can see, but did you want to attempt anything?
The one with black hair has disadvantages on attacks due to my poison.
Okay. And poison disadvantage. Yep, that's cool. Okay, dokies. So, we're skipping Al for now because he's muted, so he's off for a second. Back round to Kalosia then. You're still stood quite near this dwarf, so...
Yeah, and I'm going to lightning slash him.
Ooh, alrighty. Roll me your attack and your damage if appropriate.
Wait, why are you murdering me?
He's not murdering you, don't worry.
Okay, that's good. Even Arrow can't see anything anymore.
24 for attack.
Yep, that will hit.
And so it's 1, 2, 3. That is 14. It's 19 points of damage. 5 being no, 6 being lightning.
Ooh, 19 exactly.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, in which case,
Wow.
we don't have a quote yet for when you kill someone, so I'm just gonna go with you did it. You kill him. How do you want to kill him?
For fuck's sake. I'll just literally just take off his arm first, then take off his head.
Okay. Minus arm, minus head. Okay, with a swift thunk thunk, the dwarf's arm shing dunk lands on the floor, thunk 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 thunk, and the head again shing dunk. And this big, black, thick, beardy head with a big black mess of hair like rolls on the floor and lands almost right next to, as if looking at the head of his friend.
They're having a tea party.
Right, and I'll start cleaning up the bodies immediately.
In the meantime, I cast light again and I look around to see if there's any worthy loot.
First I'll say to Ariel, can you slightly some pixie way clean up this blood? You can clean up this place before your friend gets here.
Wait. I don't have a pixie way of cleaning up blood. There was a broom!
Yes, there is a broom.
Can you broom blood?
You can certainly try.
By the way, with I would say that lightning damage, I would say I would have cauterized most of the cuts. Would you say so?
I think that is a very convenient way of trying to get out of making mess.
Well, lightning damage, yeah. cauterization, yeah.
I would say more fire damage for that. I'll say there isn't like blood splatters. You're very good at what you do, so it's going to be a very clean cut. But you know, an arm and 2 heads have fallen to the floor. There's going to be some blood. Just
I'll immediately then just stick. Well, we'll get my other blade and then use my fire slash, but not. I just heat up the blade and cauterize any kind of blood spread, so it doesn't go anywhere else.
You mean besides the blood that already is everywhere?
Yeah, just in case anything else that comes out of the body, we can clean up what's there. Then I'll drag the bodies to a relatively dark corner.
Okay, if you want, you can put them off to the left where the sack of gold was.
Yeah. Do you guys want to have a look through the next room first and how we look around the place, and when we're done we can cave the place in?
Deal.
Alright, cool. Guess?
What is it?
Do you want to have a look through the next room, see if we can find anything, and once we're done we cave this entrance in?
Yes, I'll go to the next room.
Okay. So
are you going to have a look at any of the things in this room first, or are you going to come back and do these later?
Well, come on and do these later. I want to clear out the rooms, and then we can put the bodies into the far back of the rooms, and then we will leave.
Well, I did specify that when I flew over to the north, that I wanted to look out for anything interesting. So, is there anything, like, of particular interest?
Okay, well,
Like
when you're flying near to the dwarves, the items you saw, again, covered in layers of dust. It was similar to the other side of the room. There's a curved table against the wall. You saw a very dusty bag. You saw a very dusty little sort of rectangular box, and you saw some sort of dark, they almost look like black, long, like a face mask, but more like goggles, sort of like a mask that you strap to the front of your face with like goggle eyes, like made of like glass, but black, completely black. Very pointy nose. Out of character, it looks a bit like Batman's mask.
Batman's mask?
Yeah. Like a Batman mask.
I was imagining
like
one of those plague doctors.
No, not that long and pointy. And you also see a sort of grey with pink splodges, high dusty, like it looks like a fan or something. And again, all of these are magical. And
is there what size are those? Because we need to care about
everything. Is looking very big, except for the little box is about... How tall are you again, Errol? Like 1 foot?
8 inches.
8 inches, okay. Well, this little box is probably about 4 inches long, about 2 inches wide. So the box is a bit smaller than you. It would still be quite heavy for you to carry, but that's probably the smallest thing there.
Can I put whatever we need into my bag of holding?
You can do, well, whatever people want to have. There's the stuff on the right hand side. There's also the fan as well, Ariel. It's a little bit smaller than you when it's folded up. But again, it would be probably quite heavy to carry, but in terms of size-wise, they're the smallest things there.
I want those two.
Right, I'll just simply say to both of them, if you need anything, put in this bag, and we can just carry it out afterwards.
Can you help me with these? This one is a bit heavy, and the other one as well,
I'll help Ariel put whatever he wants into the bag.
Okay, so Ariel, what do you want?
The fan and the little box.
Okay, I'm just going to put who got those. Errol got the little box. Okay. Kess. Okay, everyone, you've now seen the stuff that's on either side of the room. So on the right-hand side where Kess was, there's the sweeping broom, the big brass bottle, the sort of spiderweb slippers, and something long covered over by a throw. On the other side, you've got the Batman goggles and a little dusty bag.
Is it really a Batman goggle?
It looks like Batman goggles. Like, it's like got a small pointy nose, it's black, it looks sort of pointy, it looks like a sort of Batman face mask with goggles for eyes.
Okay. Well, it's black.
Yeah, it's completely black. Even the eyes are black tinted.
Yeah, I'm not happy with that.
And
then I also want to see what the thing that's covered up is.
Okay.
There's a covered up thing right next to me, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell them, hurry up to just whatever it is you see, just put it in, we can look at it later.
Grab it all.
Just grab
Okay,
it all,
okay.
back, let's go.
I'm just grabbing all the stuff that's around and taking it.
Okay, so are you going to grab the long covered thing as well?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
With the blanket over it so that we don't see what it is yet.
Yeah.
And I'm going to grab it. I'm going to grab the broom and put it in as well.
Okay. So Kaloja's taking the broom,
everything.
Cass is taking the goggles, and Cass is also going to take the, as you pick it up, covered in the blanket, it feels like a big mirror.
A mirror? Okay.
Is it an illusion?
Okay.
Well, in any case, I'm putting it in the bag for.
Okay, so Cass, you took the covered over mirror, the Batman goggles. Kaloja, you've taken the broom. Errol, you've taken the small box and the fan. Cool?
Yes.
Is that
I've got
everything?
the mask as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that everything in the room
No.
that we see?
No, there's a little dusty bag, there's a brass bottle, and there's the slippers. And of course there's a little gold.
I'll grab those and just throw them in the bag.
Okay.
We'll share it afterwards.
Yeah, just throw it in.
And Kaloja. Okay.
Okay, just to go over it, I have a covered mirror.
Yep, I'll throw it in the bag too.
And then what else do I have?
You've got a covered mirror, and you've got the Batman mask goggles at the moment.
Okay.
So anything that we actually see in that room, we just throw in the bag.
So far,
Well, anything that we can.
So far, everything is in the bag except for the sack of gold and the big statue.
I put the sack of gold in there.
Okay.
How about the statue?
Can we put the statue inside?
The statue will not fit in the bag of holding. It's
No.
about 7 feet tall, made of very sturdy
Is there
metal.
anything on
Okay.
Is there anything on the statue worthwhile?
No, it's all made of metal and it's all connected to itself. As you look at it, though,
Okay.
the sort of horns and things, you recognise it as a younger Nomatal, the king of Travis. So it's a statue of him.
Okay, I'll just slice off the head and put that in the bag, just for all personal reasons.
Okay, you're gonna have to roll me something really good.
Okay.
What is your problem with the towels, bro?
Well, I'll use a fire slosh for that then, basically, to cut through metal.
Okay.
His problem is that they touched his buggy wuggy.
Oh, yes.
That is...
Oh, look at that! Did you hear it in his voice?
He became defensive over it.
27.
Okay, yeah. You slice the head of the statue off and put it in the bag.
Okay. Now let's put the whatever drapes, whatever it is, put the corpses into the corner, throw some stuff on it so it's not easily seen, it can't really be seen.
The
I'll
only
say-
thing in the room you could cover them with is the sack from the gold or the cover from the mirror. Everything else is just like layers of dust and things. There isn't even a rug on the floor.
Okay, I'll just pull off the cover that's on the mirror, just throw it on them.
Okay. You pull it off the mirror that's in the bag of holding, but just pull it out the top, throw it over them. They're now in a very dark corner, soaking blood into this, throw.
but out of sight, out of mind for now.
They will be soaking blood as I cauterize the wounds.
They'll still be bleeding a little bit. DM says so.
Okay. I'll say to Cass, could you throw like a small fire to basically dry up the blood and get rid of it?
Cass is not looking this way very pointedly and says, I do not have any fire.
Do any of you have any fire abilities?
Only if they hurt me.
Oh, God damn it. Right, okay. I'll just, whoever's on the ground, just try to get rid of the blood.
There isn't a lot of blood. Like, there isn't a lot of it.
Okay. Alright, so next room then.
Besides, aren't we going to cave in this room?
Once we check out the other room.
Yeah, but why go through the hassle of hiding the blood if we're going to make a cave in anyway?
I'd rather cover all my trails.
Okay.
Alright,
I'm just going to second guess that.
Alright, I'll go to the door. I'm going to trap check it first.
Okay. Roll me an investigation, please.
It's so good that you're so paranoid. It's fun.
Alright, so 15. That's 24.
Okay, yep, the door is not trapped.
Yet.
It is locked.
Ariel, could you magic check it?
Wait, let me check out. Oh shit, how many spell slots do paladins get? Spell slots. I have 3 more. Yeah! I'll detect wait, no, I'm not detecting magic. Can I specifically use my detect good and evil on it?
You can,
Like,
yes.
fly near it and see what my detect good and evil does?
Yep, sure. Okay, you flutter on past and you concentrate really hard and you sense things in the air and you feel your goddess and you think about everything and yep, it's just the door.
Just the door.
Okay, I just open the door and go.
I fly slightly out of her, just to be sure.
Okay,
I'll just double check the room and
Tess
leave.
walks forward and slams into the door because it is locked.
Oh, okay, then I will try to open the door.
Tess
So,
steps forward
I'm
confidently, turns the handle and oh yeah, it's locked.
So, Rosie,
Yes.
lockpicking is basically two small, sharp objects, right? That you use to pick the lock.
Yes.
I'll do the lockpick and I'm proficient in it.
Okay, I was like, I can see in the lock, so that might help.
Alright. I pull all my daggers, rip off the handle, and then lockpick it from the inside mechanics.
Okay. Roll me dexterity, please. With your proficiency bonus.
Okay, proficiency is 16, that's 21, and that is 24.
Okay.
You're level 5 or higher. What level are you?
6.
Damn.
Yeah.
Is it a little bit of robust?
We bring in assassins at higher levels to try and kill you off one by one. That's how this game works.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's
And
not.
then they end up...
It's not a very
And the
tricky
higher-
lock,
Yeah.
and it does clicks open, and the door swings inwards towards you, and you can see a long stone corridor winding off to the right. And as you look out and step into it, you can see a set of spiral stairs which go upwards and down.
Alright, let's, what do you guys want to do?
Well, up is towards the tower that was destroyed. So that's going to be a difficult route to take.
Let's
So
try
let's go down. Yeah, let's go down.
Alright, we'll start heading down then.
Okay.
But while we're doing this, I'll go in the back of the group and I'm just going to roll stealth, just in case.
Well, we can always stealth now. There's no need to.
I'm flying brightly lit, or dimly lit. I'm flying. I'm a flying ball at this point.
He's a flying glitter ball.
Could we tell Arrow to just turn the brightness and then we could stealth?
Yeah, but I can't stealth. I can't dim the light more dim because then I won't see anything.
You could stand on my shoulder, then.
I still not see anything.
But if we get into a fight, you could see. But if we avoid one by you not drawing attention to us, then that's all the better, isn't it?
Yeah, but I don't get to kill in the name of my goddess.
I rolled a 29 in stealth.
Cool. You are flattened to the wall and have disappeared into the night.
I'll keep it extremely low, just so that I can see something, but like dim enough that it be like easy to hide.
Okay.
You're gonna make Kess like a fucking mobile target.
Are you on Kess's shoulder, or are you going to like hover towards the ceiling or something?
Yeah.
Oh, no, if he's going, he can't be attached. Cass. Tell him to target.
Yeah, Kess says no.
And she will sneak herself.
Okay, so Errol, you can hover along like up towards the ceiling if you like, and then you can see where you're going because you'll be able to see where the ceiling leads and stuff to go round and down the stairs.
I'm guessing that glowing pixie can't roll stealth, right?
You can roll stealth but with disadvantage.
I'll take that. I'll try it.
Okay, cool.
What did you roll?
2 18s.
Hey!
And considering I have plus 4 stealth means that my disadvantage makes 22 dex stealth.
Somehow, the pixie, maybe because he's just so small, people just wouldn't necessarily notice the light. He manages to be more stealthy than Kess as you stealth on down, yes, like a firefly.
I blend in with the
Going
fireflies.
down the bayou, going down. I don't know if anyone's seen that movie, so never mind. That's the only firefly thing I could think of apart from the TV show, but I thought that was obvious. So you guys all head on downstairs. As you get to the bottom of the stairs, you can hear what sounds like shuffling. Not very fast, just sort of slow, like paced and very methodical, like shuffling, sort of like.
What does my divine sense think of it?
Your divine sense doesn't think anything.
So it's not good or evil.
Mm-hmm. Which is very unhelpful, I'm aware.
Yeah, I'm thinking. What? How does that work?
If it's not good and it's not evil, it must be neutral.
Oh, there's something neutral down there. Oh, sorry, did you want to call out to us?
So it's just a door between us and the next room?
No. As you get to the bottom of the stairs, you can see another but this corridor is longer, a long corridor, and it winds round, and you can hear this shuffling coming from the other end.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I go ahead of the group and see if I can see what it is by stealthily looking around the corners, etc., like a little ninja that I am?
Sure. Yes, I can hear you. Yeah. And yes, roll me another stealth, please.
Additional stuff?
Again?
Yes, please. Just whoever's going up to have a look. So at the moment, is it just Kalasia?
I'll stay away for a bit then.
I will let him have a look.
That
I
is
will warn him that it's not evil.
okay. That's not 20, so that is 32.
Okay. In
He
which
disappeared
case,
to the ethereal plane.
yes, you reappear attached to a microphone and realise this is all a joke, and you're actually a character in D&D world. Okay, I'm just going to show you actually. You come around the corner and very, very stealthily and very, very carefully, you come around the corner and you see a large hulking shape, and it's just pacing backwards and forwards. It doesn't seem to be going particularly quickly, it's just sort of plodding. Doesn't seem to have any weapons, and it's just rather large. It takes up almost the entire tunnel, and it looks like this.
A gold. God damn it. Okay.
That's a friendly golem.
Friendly.
Well, it hasn't proven itself evil yet.
Okay, so with that, scouting ahead, I'll go back to the group and says it looks like a golem or a guardian of something is blocking this hallway. If any of you guys are good at, if you want to talk this through or fight it, decision's yours. I'm not doing the talking.
Talk to a golem. That's not going to work, is it?
I'm just throwing all options out there.
You know, I could try to persuade it to not harm us.
You could if you wanted to. I'm not partaking it.
It's a golem.
Is Cass in range from it from this distance?
No, she's back behind you, so you've now gone back to tell them.
Is this just a long corridor, or is this starts off left or right?
It's one long corridor. It's going round to the right of you, because you're at the foot of the stairs. The corridor goes round to the right, and then it reaches where this creature is. Also behind it, you notice that it looks to be pacing in front of something. There's a large, dark, locked chest behind it. You saw that as well.
Okay, there's a shiny behind this big bastard.
Wait, you're saying that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Rossi, what sort of distances do we have? How far away are we from the golem? And how far is the chest?
I would say at the moment, to get to the golem itself, well, you think it might be a golem. We'll call it a golem for now and see how it goes. To get to the creature, you're probably around 40 feet away at the moment, but around a curved tunnel, so you can't see it and it can't see you. And then it's about 10 feet in front of the chest, so probably about 50 feet away from the chest itself and about 40 away from the creature.
Is it... See when it was pacing back and forth, was it facing the chest?
No, it was facing sideways, so it would look to either side, but it would pace from one side of the wall to the other, turn, and then pace back again. And every sort of couple of seconds it would look one way down the tunnel and then look back towards the chest, as if this is a pattern it's been doing for a while.
I have an idea. So what I want to do is I want to use spider climb to try to sneak across the ceiling to get the chest.
Is that...
So spider climb lets me climb with equal speed to walking on any surface, even vertical and upside down on the ceiling. So basically, I would not walk by, I would walk above.
Okay. you can most certainly try that. So you're going to cast the spider climbing on yourself?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, give me 1 second.
How high is the ceiling?
The ceiling is probably about 8 or 9 foot high. It's not very big. It's quite a low ceiling.
How tall is the golem?
Ooh. Hang on 1 second. I just need to roll.
Oh shit.
Oh ho ho! Ah ho ho ho! Okay. Deal with that one in a second. The creature is probably, it's nearly the height of the ceiling. So if the ceiling was 9 foot, this creature is about 8, maybe 8.5. Like, it's walking stooped. It doesn't need to, because it's not going to touch the ceiling, but it's sort of naturally got a bit of a stoop in its shoulders, and it's sort of walking, shuffling 1 foot, then another foot, then another foot, and turning. And when it turns, it takes up about a quarter of the tunnel. So when it's facing, and for the brief moment it's facing towards you, it takes up sort of a quarter of the tunnel, and then it turns and paces. It probably takes it about 5 or 6 steps to get from one side to the other, if that.
Okay.
Meanwhile,
so I'll sneak up so it's in eye shot distance of me.
Okay, well, meanwhile, while that is happening, unfortunately, your little pixie fluttered off in attempts to get past it, and although he rolled very well, I rolled a natural 20. So, you sneaky, and then I added. So you sneaky, and flew over, and you're doing very, very well. You even flew strategically while the creature had its back to you, but it turned earlier than you were expecting and looked up and around and swatted at you. So can you make me a dexterity save, please?
That's for the pixie.
For the pixie, yeah. For the pixie. Very good. Okay, it swipes up at you. Very nearly catches Sylvester, which makes you panic, but it doesn't catch you, and you manage to flutter out of the way back towards where the other two are.
Does it follow?
No, it doesn't follow him. It stays still for a little while, and then continues to pace.
Now that he knows I'm here, I think it's best if one of you guys goes, the treasure chest. In the meantime, I'll to make it easier to keep past him. He knows I'm here now.
That's a good idea.
I have an idea. What's the chance that you throw some pixie dust in that big guy?
I could try to do that.
That would just make him more dangerous.
No, it's make him float uncontrollably.
How do you know that?
You do realize that I have worked with pixie dust for close to 200 years right now. I pretty much know what it does and what it doesn't.
Well, but it could make him a lot worse. I could right now just climb over and take...
The only dangers of that thing is being on its feet.
Well, which is why I was going to climb at the top.
Yeah, I don't think you'd fit in between that gap between its shoulders and the ceiling if a pixie can't get past.
Rosie? Can I get past or just can't?
The gap between it and the ceiling is 1 foot, because it's 8 foot tall and the ceiling is 9 foot. If it was facing the other direction and out of the way, you'd have a little bit of space where you could try and shimmy past. You'd have to time it perfectly, and you'd then run the risk of it seeing you as it turned around.
Yeah. So basically, if Ariel was distracting, I could do it.
Potentially, yes.
I would love to see you try, is what I'm going to say now.
Uh-oh.
Are we going for it?
SideQuest, if you want to try that, go for it. Just mind to tuck your tail in if you're going to do it.
Dragon Ball don't have.
Some do.
This dragon doesn't have a tail. I take from the fact that she said that she doesn't have a tail.
Yeah, my kind doesn't.
Okay.
But I'll make sure to tuck everything. They're beautiful and awesome.
And, you know, if anything goes south, we can always have Cass jump away from the thing and then make it float.
Yeah,
Well,
we can always resort to that.
the advantages here is either we very much skin of our teeth sneak past it, take us to the chest, or I engage it first and you guys follow up and see if we can try and take it down.
It could be very powerful.
But in this space, it's not going to have much maneuverability.
And I'm fucking fast.
It's a confined space, it's a long corridor, which you are a ranged fighter, which I was shooting. You have advantages there.
Well, as long as you keep it off us.
However, it's made of stone, right?
Yeah.
So that means that all you have to offer is pixie dust.
Possibly.
And
You don't have any
moving it.
spells.
Wait a second, I'll open my spell. That's a... I could cast Bane on it, or Hunter's Mark, but I don't have weapons that work against it. I mean, I'm not going to be able to tap it with my sword and magically.
No, the sword is not going to be.
It's
not a magical sword, is it?
No, but I'm going to have fun. I'm going to have so much fun if actually fight this thing.
Okay,
I'll
well,
be the most annoying character ever.
let's try this then. I'll try to sneak up to it. I'll start the fight off. Ariel, you follow up. Right? And then Cass, you do whatever you can. Just hit it as hard as you possibly can.
Don't get it. It's a giant Sylvester.
Arrow, we will just make it sleep. Forever.
Oh, child. Are you trying to insult me? Scales?
No, of course not. I'm just saying, we will only make the golem for an undetermined period.
Right.
Because I can become very bright and colorful. Colorful.
Ariel, do you want the contents of that chest?
I have no clue yet.
Well, then let's find out. And after that, we can do it. Like, or there's no point arguing.
Right, do you want to guys go with my plan?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll basically sneak up to it, so when it's walking this direction before it turns around, I'll attack it then.
Okay. I'm going to be keeping my distance to just fight long range.
Yeah. And during that, I also cast Hunter's Mark when I'm going up to it before entering combat.
I fly up close again.
DM?
Okay, so I'm just
I didn't like that silence from the
no,
DM.
it's okay. I'm just writing this down. So, am I right in saying Kaloja, you're going first?
Yes.
Okay, right. So, Kaloja, what are you doing? And then roll it for me.
Okay. I am going to immediately sneak attack it, then assassinate it, then slash it.
How many actions do you get in?
2 actions, 1 bonus.
Damn.
So you're going to what? Sneak attack, assassinate.
And then there's a normal slash.
Alright, but you only have 2 normal attacks, so you can do something.
Okay, then I'll use that. I'll use that as bonus action to move away.
Alright, cool. Okay, in which case, roll me to attack with your first one.
Okay, it's 17 plus 7. 25?
Yeah, 25 will hit. What are you hitting it with?
With my big sword.
Okay. Just as it is, you haven't dipped it in anything crazy.
It's
You attract it with a poison.
yeah.
Like you specified that in the circular rule.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's a golem. Okay.
Yeah, but the poison is already on the sword. It's not going to be able to.
Yeah.
Alright. Okay, so.
My next attack.
And then you can do your damage altogether.
Okay.
You're going to have to roll even more damage to us.
I'm gonna.
25.
Yeah, that will hit as well. Okay, so roll me your both lots of damage and put them together.
Okay, I'm also going to gauge on my mech limbs.
Okay, do you have enough actions for that? Because you've done both actions and moved away.
But isn't moving away just more action or bonus action?
To move out of harm's way, bonus action.
Oh, fair.
Okay, you know what, fuck it, I won't use one of my mech limbs. Let's see if I can do what I can on it.
Okay,
Right,
I'm sure you'll be doing
that
fine.
is- So in total, that is 5, 11, 15, plus 3 is 18. That's 1, 5, 8. That's 11. So keep remember these numbers for me: 8 and 11.
Okay, so you're on 19.
8 and 11.
Yep. Just trying to remember how the fuck I'm doing this. Right, then there's 5, 7, 9, 15, that's 18, that's my sneak attack, that's my assassinate is... So yeah, my first, so the 18 times that by 2,
Why?
my assassinate.
Okay, I thought you only critted on 19 and 20.
Those are just my normal attacks added together. Those are my 2 attacks with my weapon added together.
Okay, so what's the total of damage that you're doing in total? The whole lot?
Yes, so it's 11 plus 18, that is, fucking Christ, it's 29.
11 plus 18? Yes?
Yeah, that's,
I'm typing it into a calculator. Just
yeah, I can. It's 29 plus the 15, so it's 29 plus 15,
44.
and times that 2 with my assassinate. And I think I, yeah, and that's my total damage because I didn't really roll that great.
88.
Yeah.
Okay, well, he's not going to take all of that damage, unfortunately.
What's that?
He's not going to take all of that damage, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Ooh, because it wasn't magical.
Don't know. So what was your total?
88.
88. Okie dokie.
88.
And that's after saying, what the
Okay. Okay,
I'm so
so
glad I had that.
who is going next?
Do you want to go next?
Yes, I have a good idea.
Okay, good.
Because the idea was for Kess to use something big and Ariel to levitate it afterwards, so it's kind of fucked.
Oh yeah, true.
Yes, it's fucked, floating 1 foot above where it would have been already.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's off balance.
Ah, of
It's
course.
off balance, and we can tip it over and
Yeah.
see.
Disadvantage on movement,
the
and
DM
it's
to try and
already
convince you your
disadvantaged on
plan isn't going
attacks.
to work. So, who's going next? Ariel or Kess?
Well, I guess then.
I haven't found it. Unfortunately, I don't have anything big really. So I'll have to use Eldritch Blast. Unfortunately. I forgot to get spell slots. I would have had to, I'm sure. That's 9 points of force damage.
Okie doke.
Yeah, with Eldritch Blast.
How much damage did it take off of me?
I am not at liberty to say. I'll tell you after.
Okay.
Basically, as you were hitting it, you felt a lot of resistance, and you knew it wasn't taking the damage that a human target would have done.
Okay. Yeah, because it's made of fucking stone.
Yes. Okay, so Cass is gone, and Eldritch Blast it.
Yeah. Did it take the force damage normally?
It did take some force damage. You can't tell if it's completely affected it or not, but it made it sort of, it did hit it, it did make an impact, it did sort of stop, it did sort of take a step backwards, and then continue.
Okay, so it reacted to it.
It reacted to it, and it's now turning to face you completely. So Ariel, what were you doing?
Which is my turn.
Yes.
Okay, I fly close out, making noises, just screaming and taunting it.
Okay. It's looking up confusedly, it moving its head, slowly following you, confused.
Okay. Wait a second, I'm checking if I can build it, like, right next to each other. Because this is not,
See, this is where you could have used a luck potion, you cheeky bastard.
yeah, but it was more fun when I
That's some rough love.
Maybe
Love potion is not constant.
maybe there's another love potion in the brass bottle you picked up upstairs, you never know.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna pour it onto a golem and turn it into an even bigger golem or something. Because then you could not reach the treasure chest anymore, because it would squeeze the hallway closed. I cast Armor of Genova,
Alrighty.
so I'm now glowing all kinds of colors brightly, which
Beautiful.
incidentally also deals damage, which is fun. Oh, max damage. I roll 10 points of damage from the Armor of Genova.
Beautiful.
And Armor of Genova lasts a full minute and deals that 1d10 damage, which is 10 damage per turn.
Okay. Brill. So remember that for your next go.
I also... Wait, can I cast that as a bonus action? What does it say about?
It will say
Not
next
bonus
to your
action.
spell.
It says casting times action, so that...
Maybe it's your
Take
next
one
turn.
action.
Yeah, Yeah, those are all not viable options for this turn.
That's fine, you can hold on to them.
So they can be bonus up.
Yeah, the bonus spells are just spells that I got as a bonus for being a paladin.
Cool.
And for my bonus action, I shall play pan flute while flying at blowing the colors.
Okay, you're now completely distracting it. Cass, you're slightly revolted by the cheerful music and the brightly rainbow glowing pixie darting about. You know it's for a good cause, but still, the brightly coloured cheerfulness just grates on you a little bit.
Yeah,
Wait, what? You went off
No, I'm contemplating if I should shoot Errol or the golem. Right now it's a very difficult choice.
Point.
For the time being, I will go for the golem. Unless the pixie gets more annoying.
If you do intend to attack me, I will fly over to you.
I'm not attacking, this is all in Cass's head. And since you can't read minds...
That you know of.
Not that I know of.
Yeah, which means you'd still be thinking it anyway.
Well, wait, so did Errol react to Cass's dark thoughts about something to shoot it down?
No.
Okay, in that case, I will shoot the golem. Otherwise I will have to cover.
Alrighty. Okay, so what are you shooting at the golem? Well, golem.
Since I'm out of other useful spells, it will have to be Eldritch Blast again.
That's fine. An oldie but a goodie.
Yeah!
Alright, so roll it.
Unfortunately, I don't get enough spell slots. Okay, so I've got 9 points of damage again.
Okay.
So 9 points of force damage. And just thinking about this, would it be, like, are there any stalagmites that I could break on top of the golem or something? With an axe damage?
At the moment, you can't see any. It seems to be a fairly sort of like stone slab ceiling. They're a bit like not downstairs, upstairs now, in the dungeon area. There are bits of soil and things, and bits of dirt and earth, and occasional bits of moss and damp, but nothing particularly pointy or stalactitey at the moment.
Okay. So nothing I could bludgeon it with.
Not at the moment, no. You could cave the ceiling in if you really tried, but...
Not yet. We still want stuff.
Okay, so, Kalasia, are you next?
Yep. I am going to acid slosh it at the legs.
Mm-hmm. Go on then. Roll it. Yes. Okay, that will hit.
6, 1. It's 13 plus 5. 18 points of damage with 5 points of acid damage.
Okay, so your total damage is...
It's 18, yeah. It's 13 normal, 5 acid.
Okay. So... Alright. Okay, again, the normal slashing doesn't seem to do too much, but the acid does.
Could you add 3 more damage to that with my Hunter's Mark?
Yes.
And I'll back up again.
Okay. Again, you notice that the normal damage going through doesn't seem to do very much. The acid seems to affect it slightly more. The blade cuts through. Before, it was like hard cheese. With the acid, it was slightly more like firm butter.
Okay.
Are you describing this stone as butter?
Firm butter.
Very firm butter.
Varric would like that description.
Do not taste that here.
Yeah. Wah, wah.
So,
Oh, it's really dead.
All right.
for me hitting it, can I kind of tell what material it's made of?
Yes.
Well, it's made of
It's made
stone.
of rocks and stone.
Made of cheese.
So it's just rocks and stone, as you said. It's kind of pottery. I was confused.
No, I was saying that when you were attacking it with normal damage, it's like trying to cut through very hard cheese. But when you added the acid to it, it was more like very, very hard butter. As in to describe the difference between it. It's not actually made of butter. I'm really sorry, but Varric isn't going to appear with a giant baguette to swoop it up or anything.
But yes.
Okay.
That would be an epic cameo for later on.
Ariel,
Yes?
yes. So please roll me dexterity.
Okay, on it.
Okay. Meanwhile, so Kaleja, you've done that.
Oh, yes.
The pixie, amid all this confusion,
That's 20.
has managed to sneak off to the chest and is now peering at the lock and has rolled to try and pick it. And even with your nat 20, you have only just managed to do it. This lock was immensely tricky and difficult, deliberately so, plus old, rusted, very hard, very tricky, and made of like this big, thick, heavy, like silver. It's not made of silver, but it's like silver coloured metal. Heavy as hell. You managed to unpick it. The lid of the trunk is very heavy, but if you want to make a strength check for me, then you can try and lift the lid.
Can I cheat on that strength check and pixie dust the lid?
Yes.
I pixie dust the lid.
Okay. The lid opens, and I couldn't find a picture that I liked for this, so I'm going to describe it instead. Use the theatre of the mind. You see it.
I would have laughed if it was a mimic.
I did consider it.
Fearsome.
Inside, the chest is dark. It is full of dark cushions and like a thin, beautiful blankets. They don't have any designs on them. They're just black and plain. And it all plumps up. And in the middle of this like pillow set is a very dark book. It's heavy and thick, and it's bound at one end with like very dark silvery binding, and it has no title. It has every page is black, the cover is black, the corners are even darker black, and it's sort of, it has something about it. Actually, Ariel, you would be able to tell this book emanates evil.
Yeah, this book sounds like
You know,
Cass is like wearing her knickers behind me. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake.
wait a second, I need a definition. What the effect is of evil to me? Does it hurt? Even slightly?
You were sitting on Cass's shoulder, dude.
No, I flew away from that.
It's not attacking. The sense of it, though, it's almost overpowering. This book has not only this book is not only about evil, this book was written by someone evil. The very words within it must be evil. It is about evil. It has an air of evil. It almost hits you in the face when you open the trunk and look at it, and as in the air of it being evil. The book doesn't literally punch you, although that would have been fun.
The book is the mimic.
But it's very overwhelming. This book is pure evil. At this point, you two notice that the creature has turned around and is making noises and has turned away from you two attacking it because it has realised the book has been gotten to, and it's now making its way towards you, Ariel.
But just for like quick technicality, does the evil, is it strong enough for me to warrant rebuke? Not.
Strong enough for you to what?
Hellish rebuke.
You could certainly try.
I want to use hellish rebuke.
Or
No, don't you dare destroy the book.
Too late, I'm hellish rebuking the book.
Oh god. I'm going to shoot you.
alrighty.
It's an evil book, it needs to be destroyed.
With a spell called Hellish Rebuke.
Yes.
Alright.
Ironic.
So, roll me your spell attack with the d20 and add your spell modifier, please.
Well, isn't hellish rebuke just instantaneous damage? It's a dex saving throw for the.
Yeah, you need to take damage to deal with.
Yeah, that's why I was asking if I was able to hellish rebuke the book thanks to the evil sensation.
No, you actually have to take damage.
Yeah, I think it has to be that. Just say.
Is that you protecting the book, or?
No.
No, I was doing this once and I got told off by the DM I couldn't do it.
I mean, I will say it sort of comes down to your character's definition of being damaged, because you're not taking hit point damage. I mean, this is overwhelming evil. Does it make you feel attacked, or is it just making you feel like pissed off and like you want to attack it? Because if it doesn't feel like the book itself is going to try and do you harm, then it wouldn't be the reaction of Hellish Rebuke. I would let you use something similar, but the reaction spell itself wouldn't be as effective. So I'm just flicking to the page now to double check what I'm reading.
Yeah, but I think it also says that it's for a creature that
I just have never heard Hellish Rebuke be used on a book before.
yeah.
That doesn't mean it can't happen.
I'm good at creative use of things.
I know, right? It's fucking hilarious.
I mean, the bear trap was really full. When I punched someone in the face with it.
Bear trap.
I punched a demon in the face with a bear trap, is that right?
Exactly.
That sounds lovely.
So what do you think? Does Ariel feel attacked, or does he feel more like threatened? Because they are different.
I'm not entirely sure. I don't think Errol would feel personally attacked, but he'd feel like this book needs to be destroyed now.
Okay. Well, in which case, Hellish Rebuke...
Preferably 10 minutes ago.
In which case, the Hellish Rebuke as a reaction wouldn't be appropriate. You can still attack the book by whatever means you deem necessary.
I don't have fight to attack it. Wait, my Armor of Genova is still...
Mm-hmm.
That deals force damage. Would force damage harm a book?
A normal book. You can try.
Okay.
I encourage you to try.
I will.
If it's a legendary, this ain't gonna do shit.
It's an economical something.
Yeah, I'm kind of counting
Put a legendary item anywhere near you guys? Would I?
So I roll damage for my hellish, not my hellish rebuke, armor of Genova.
Yes.
While I'm screaming at Ariel behind you.
Well, the thing is the golem within? Is the golem still close to me?
It's within 10 feet of you at the moment.
Because then I did 10 damage to both of them. Armor of Genova harms every in the reach.
Ooh.
So I do 10 damage to both of them.
Okay. Well, the creature sort of stutters in its track and takes the damage. The book in front of you, this radiance of light and good that you're expiring, as it were, sort of breathes out onto the pages of the book, and you see it sort of shimmer and rustle, sort of, and like a cold chill runs up the spine of the book, and it gives off a sort of like black sort of shadowy smoke, which sort of spirals and disappears into the air, but the book doesn't seem to have taken any damage.
In that case, seeing as Armor of Genova is a spell that I activated last round, I still have my action.
Mm-hmm.
I stab it with both my scimitars.
Alright.
Cass is gonna kill you.
You know, killing you isn't exactly that threatening if you've come back from it once already.
But I can torture you.
I'll keep coming back and back and back again until I can torture.
But that's the point. That I can do you.
There is a slight issue with that. If she does kill you, take your soul, I don't think that technically works.
Oh yeah, there's that as well.
Is she capable of stealing a soul that is protected by, like, God?
There's only one way to find out.
I encourage you to try. So, what have you got for your damage to the book then? Well, for your attack to the book, roll your attack first.
Oh yeah, I should try to hit it before I roll damage. So I add my dexterity because it's finesse, and my proficiency. 19 to...
Okay. Are you stabbing it through the cover, or are you attempting to stab the pages, like opening it?
Through the cover. A bit like the diary with the basket.
Yeah, I was just thinking Harry Potter style.
That's the idea.
Blunders and Bothwellians! Alright. You go to stab the book, and as you get close to the cover, your blades start to shake, and black shadow comes out of the book, and it doesn't do you any damage, it just sort of stays there in like a ring around the book, and you cannot push your swords past it, and eventually you have to pull them away, and the shadow like disperses around the book.
The issue is that that's where Errol would feel attacked because he's powerless against his higher evil.
By all means, like, if you have a reason to try Hellish Rebuke, by all means, I encourage you to try.
I'm debating if it's worth my spell slot right now.
It's a good job I'm right now.
Is this still an Ariel's turn, by the way?
He's considering using it, and that'll be his next turn, so I'm going to leave you thinking about that.
That would be the last thing of my turn, I guess, because it's Hellish Rebuke's reaction
Yes.
to what happened.
So what do you think?
I don't think he'd do it.
No? Oh,
No,
wise
because
decision.
At this point he feels powerless against this book. He also tried to like keep it away from Kessa.
All right.
So can I throw back? Like, can I not basically just delete anymore so that it falls shut and like falls in its lock again? Hopefully.
Yeah, sure you can. So you see the lid shut, and you can no longer see the book. The creature is still coming up behind Ariel. So you two, what would you like to do?
You just screwed my plan up there. Okay, I'm going to bolt past the creature.
Okay.
I'm going to, with one arm, flip the chest open, put my hand on the book, put my other hand around Errol, and dimension door to where Kess is.
Okay, sure. As you grab hold of the book... Oh, can you message me on WhatsApp your alignment real quick? You can say it if you don't mind saying it in front of people.
It's chaotic neutral.
Okay. In which case, when you pick up the book, it sizzles against your hand. Are you picking it up with your mechanical hand or your normal one?
Mechanical, because that's my right arm.
Okay. In which case,
just put it's an inanimate object to it.
No. In which case, the metal on your hand starts to slightly warp. You can't feel this, of course, but you eventually, as you dimension door and you reappear clutching the pixie tight in your hand and the book in the other, you smell something, and it smells like heated, very hot metal, like if you're a blacksmith, and you realise that your hand holding the book has started to singe, and some of the metal is slightly warped and bending and starting to melt in a sort of black goo.
Okay, I'll still dimension door with the book and throw it at Kess's face.
Okay.
Okay,
can I try to catch it?
Yeah, roll me a dexterity check, please.
Oh gosh. Catch an evil book.
If you fail it, you're going to get hit in the face with 2
It'll be worth it.
Oh my god!
What the fuck?
One. Yes.
Okay, well, with your natural one.
It is a total of 3, but
It's the nat 1, which is a fumble.
Okay.
Instant fail.
Well, 2 interesting things happen. Firstly, Kess, you notice them disappear, holding the book, reappear quite close to you, and then, the book flies towards your face. The first thing that happens is the book smacks you in the front of the face. And falls to the...
Basically what I'm doing now, I'm saying grab it and go.
Okay, well the second thing that happens when the book falls to the floor. Interestingly, when the book falls to the floor, it doesn't fly open, none of its pages open. The book lands as if it was locked. It lands down, completely closed. The second interesting thing that happens is you notice that the book has left no mark on Kess whatsoever. She looks a bit grumpy, like it's hit her and it hurt, but it hasn't tried to singe her skin like it singed your hand.
Wouldn't Kess be constantly throwing my detect evil sensor?
It's not that evil. It's not that evil. Yet.
Well, yes, it's the keyword there. I'm working on it.
It's the second she collects enough souls.
I'll tell you what.
After that, I'm just gonna, with arrow in arm, in hand, going upstairs and throwing him in the air so he can fly, so he can go with me up the stairs. And yeah,
I enjoy the boost and take a.
He does a little cartwheel in the air. It's great. Interestingly, if someone else in your party gets very much more evil, you will be detecting them as well. Interestingly. Maybe. No comment from the DM. Okay, so those two, Kess, are now running back up the stairs. This yeah, Enna with her squirrel fixation. The creature has turned around, having seen the book has now been taken again, and is making its way towards you down the corridor.
Okay, shit, I'm trying to get out.
Okay, have you got
the golem's trying to come up to me, right?
it's coming up to you. Have you picked up the book, or are you going to leave it?
Yeah, I'll pick up the book and take it with me. It's a beautiful book. I want to keep it.
It's Kess's new diary.
Yeah, it's my best buddy book.
Oh my god! Maybe the book will make the sky all dark and sinister, and you can outdo Pug.
Ooh.
Get up the fucking staircase!
Yeah, Kess is just daydreaming. Okay. Alright, so you all run on up the staircases. That's true. And you get to the top of the stairs, and you hear the creature down below you, and it's like, doosh, 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 and it's moving faster, and it's coming up behind you. You get to the top of the stairs. You have now the door, which is open, back into the place you tunneled into earlier, and you have a set of stairs going upwards.
Let's go upstairs.
What's going on? What's there?
I follow.
Yes. I'll go after them.
Okay.
But I think they are idiots.
You guys go running up the stairs, and can Ariel and Calosia, because you're at the front, can you please make me a dexterity save each?
Dex save? Oh, okay.
I was going to be more specific, but I think Dex will just cover it.
Please save me. I rolled 6. I rolled 6 total. I rolled a 2.
Okay, so you know in the play versions of Peter Pan where Tinkerbell drinks Peter's medicine and starts to die? Yeah. So, Ariel, you go flying up the stairs, you overtake Calosia, and you smack bang into a big ton of rocks and earth which have like crumbled and caved in halfway up the stairs, like, and like Tinkerbell when she starts to fall out of the air, you smack yourself in the face. You're gonna take 5 points of just like slamming damage, and then you sort of fall backwards in the air, but you manage to catch yourself, only just, but sort of like shaking your head like and like fairy dust, like pixie dust falls off you. And you stand there in the air, and Calosia, you spot this and manage to like screech yourself to a halt, like backpedaling furiously before you slam yourself into the wall. And Kess, you come up the stairs behind them, clutching the book as if to say, "I told you so."
Can I still hear the boss of golem coming up the stairs, or can he even fit up the staircase?
The creature is currently trying to get up the staircase below you. It will happen, it's just slow progress. So it's sort of going
Right, well, let's bolt out the front door and collapse like we originally planned.
Okay.
I'm assuming that by front door you mean the way you came.
Yeah.
Because that was definitely not a front door.
Our front door.
Aye, our front door.
Yes, okay.
The front door we created, the front door that became.
So you bolt on back down the spiral staircase, and you can hear this creature coming up the stairs, again very slowly, but it's nearly got you, and you run back through the door and into the room where all the objects were, where the two bodies of the little dwarves are, and you run out. And what are you going to do?
When I'm running out, I'll grab my longsword and use an acid slash at the top of the ceiling to basically erode the ceiling while we're going out.
Okay. Roll me, just roll me damage for that, so I can see how massive it would be.
You know what? Can I use Symphony to sling a big rock as well to like help cause a cave in?
Yes. Roll me an attack with that as well.
13.
It's 25 to try and hit.
Okay, it's a ceiling and a rock, so yeah, that'll hit.
And now what do I... Oh, shit.
24.
Okay, yep.
My damage is going to be nothing compared to that.
It's okay. Every little helps when you're trying to make a cave in.
Well, I rolled max damage, so that's 4.
And I use my mech arm for that, by the way.
Okay.
While they're doing this, I'm looking around to see if anyone's watching. Yeah, just in case.
There is no one in here at all, and if you go out, there's just the tunnel that leads back up to the surface, and there's no one in the tunnel, so no one's looking at you at the moment, no.
You're in the tunnel yet?
No.
Yes. That's the important bit. That's why I'm watching.
You've probably been down there an hour, maybe. Just over.
Oh, shit. So that is still not close.
Okay, so you slash away at the ceiling, and there's a lot of like soil that comes in, but there's quite a lot of rock. It doesn't entirely collapse how you're expecting it to. Ariel helps when he slams one of the rocks in, and the whole ceiling, it does shake, and the acid means it starts to corrode, and a big load of soil comes down, and a lot of rocks as well. The ceiling itself collapses in, and a bit of like the tower that was already destroyed from the war, but a little section of the tower does fall into the middle of the room. There is dust and webs everywhere, rubble. The room hasn't completely collapsed, but there's no way the creature can get through to you, and if you guys go back out the way you came, it would be very difficult for anyone else to get in again.
I'm happy with that.
Okay.
Are the dwarves covered?
Yes. They're not completely like smushed and destroyed, but they're covered in like rubble and dust and soil, so they're even harder to see well already.
Okay.
Okay.
In that case, I fly out and look for Beckett.
Okay. Are you guys all just gonna get out the tunnel and come back out into Rog?
I'm going to be cautiously looking in front of me while we're going out, as we just got out of a combat situation, so I'm kind of trying to be aware of my surroundings.
Okay. You get out.
Yeah, I'm watching for people as well.
Okay. Well,
And holding the book close. Rosie, I want to hold the book close and underneath my robes so no one can see it. It's close.
I knew you have it because I threw it at your face.
No, I'm hiding it from anyone outside seeing it.
Oh,
It's not from you guys, but when we go outside, I don't want people to see this beautiful book and get Jaffa.
Jaffa, yeah, fucking defend itself. Fucking hell, look at him, arm.
I'll defend it. Yeah, so I just hidden the book, so no one should be able to see it.
okay. That is fine.
Do I see anyone when we come up the tunnel?
Yes. When you come out the tunnel, there's no one specifically stood there looking at you, but as you come out, it is still fairly early in the morning. People are up, they're stretching, they're wandering between the little campsites, they're fetching food, they're having breakfast. Some people have started making weapons, repairing clothes. There's a lot of hustle and bustle. So there's a lot of people, which initially takes you by surprise coming up the sort of darkened tunnel, but no one's really paying you specifically a lot of attention.
Okay.
Yeah, so just try to act casual.
Well, I'll put my hood up and walk away towards the caravan where the rest of our troop are.
I
Alright.
fly away from them.
Okay, where are you going?
Up. Looking for Beckett.
Okay. Roll me a perception, please.
Oh shit, of course in the corner. Hardly can see. Okay, and perception.
And Cass, what are you doing? You're going to find a quiet place to go and read your diary.
Oh, yeah, that would be very nice to have another look at it. A
Okay.
closer look.
Okay. Era, what did you roll?
16.
16? Okay.
But later on, we have to look at the things we got out of that place. And
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Errol, looking about, you recognize a tall, slender, hooded figure who is striding purposefully towards the mouth of the dugout tunnel. You also see a shiny, brand new, enchanted-looking pickaxe swinging in their hand, and they're whistling a jaunty tune, which you also recognize. And I'm assuming you're going to flutter down to say hello.
Yes, while whistling the same tune that he's singing.
Alright, and as Kess settles down behind a tall tree near to the campsite of your companions, but not so close that anyone's going to bother you, and as Kaloja the assassin strides off to go and find some breakfast and potentially count some gold, Kess flies on down and whistling,
Arrow flies on
Arrow flies on down.
not the same.
Arrow flies down and whistling the same tune, you see the gentleman push back his hood and look up at you, and as the warm face of someone you recognise as Beckett, the travelling salesman, smiles at you and calls to you, Errol! That's where I'm going to leave you for this evening.
That's such a cliffhanger.
My book, what's in my book?
Ah!
Did any use write down what we got from that dungeon?
I will give you a list shortly. Shout bye-bye to the recording and I'll turn it off.
Tatty bear.
By the way, people, look what my house made.
Ooh.
That's about